I know. Okay, everyone. Welcome to CC15 Demo Day. Hello to everyone here in the room, and hello to all of the people online. Thank you so much for staying at home and tuning in and joining us remotely. We really, really appreciate everyone's consideration during these very troubled times. So we're really excited to be here. The students all look very excited as well. So let's get into it. So, Sugi. Okay, so as we said, welcome to CC15's Demo Day. Sugi. So all of you who are watching out there, please do post about awesome things you see tonight on social media. Please use the hashtag CCDemoDay and tag us at CodeChrysalis. So before we get into talking about how wonderful CC15 is, and believe me, we have lots to say about that, we want to give an awesome shout out to all of the people who helped out during this cohort. So big thanks to the team at Miamizu, specifically Mariko and Lori, for really just digging in and supporting our students during API night. You must have seen that one, and it was amazing. Tonight is even better. And also a thank you to people who conducted AMAs and generally supported our students. So Tomomi and Stella and Mike, you guys were awesome. Thank you so much, as always, for your support. And then very recently, as our students prepare to embark on their journey into job hunting land, we had a wonderful mock interview event. And so we also want to give a big thanks to our community members and former grads. So we have Anne, Kat, Fraser, Munira, Holly, Mukhtar, Jesus, and Noritake. You guys rock. Thank you so much for helping out, and I know that our students are way better prepared than they would have been without you. So thanks again to all of you. Sugi. Okay, so what's happening? Well, right now I'm giving opening words because I always forget to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Heather. I'm the program lead here at CodeChrysalis, and I have had the honor of doing something to help these guys through the past 3 months, although I definitely can't take the lion's share of the credit there. So after this, we're going to have 3 amazing presentations of apps that were built from scratch in just about 3 weeks, counting all of the other activities and things like that. So I hope that you will be as excited and proud as we are when you watch these tonight. And then after that, our beautiful and amazing co-founders are going to come up and give some closing words. So I want to talk a little bit about CC15. You know, as I heard our co-founder Yan mentioning to someone in the audience tonight, this is the last cohort. I know the first team is waiting. Wait a minute longer. This is the last cohort to graduate from 2020. And I don't need to tell all of you how hard of a year this has been for the entire world. So please think about that when you see the amazing high bar that our students are just setting for all future students coming forward. Honestly, it's been such a pleasure to work with such a thoughtful, caring, self-aware, hardworking, collaborative group of individuals, and I know for sure that I and the rest of the staff are really going to miss seeing them come in every day. So I'm going to get the SAP out of the way and leave the rest of it to the co-founders for sure. So yeah, without further ado, we are going to turn it over to our first team, Team RickPat. Welcome them to the stage. Team RickPat is going to be presenting to you Movie Night, and that's going to bring a little bit of the harmony back into your stay-at-home movie nights during these troubled times. So take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Konbanwa, Tokyo. We are Team RickPat, and we bring you tonight Movie Night. So let's get it started. First off, let's meet the team. Okay. From left to right, I was Jack. I am the tech lead for this project, and I worked on the mobile app and authentication. And over here we have Kenny, our firefighter and full stack extraordinaire. Alex, our front-end and UI master, and Jose, our UX, authentication, and also head of marketing. So Movie Night is a social app where couples can enjoy a stress-free night. So when everyone is at home during Corona, there can lead to some kind of friction. And maybe we've had movie night more than we're used to, and we've already scoured all of Netflix. So we wanted to create a fun game-like experience where couples can easily come to a decision and have a nice movie night. So without further ado, let's get the popcorn going and start a demo. You ready, Alex?
Yes, I am.
How's the connection over there from Bangkok?
Yeah, looks like it's all right.
It's good, okay.
All right, so let's get the demo started. So Jack's gonna be using his iPhone to show how our app's working. So here's the demo of Movie Night. So upon opening our app, you're going to be welcomed to our swiping screen, where you're gonna see a list of procedurally generated movie posters from a Netflix API. So our app uses a really awesome swiping feature where users can swipe the movie posters to the left or to the right. Swiping left will tell our app that this is a movie that you're not really interested in seeing. However, if you swipe to the right, that tells our app that that's a movie that you want to see. Also, whenever you swipe left or right, our app provides a helpful indicator to let users know the result of their input. Now, let's say you're swiping and you come across a movie poster that looks interesting, but it's one that you're not familiar with, and you want to learn more. Well, you can. By tapping on the poster, you'll be directed to our movie info screen, where you'll see a list of relevant information about the movie that you tapped on, like the movie title, a brief synopsis, the genre, and the runtime. Also from this page, you'll be able to press the red or green button to tell the app if the movie you're looking at is one that you want to watch or not. And again, after making an input, the app will provide a helpful indicator to let users know the result of their input. Also, from the movie info screen, if you see a movie that you're really interested in and you want to watch it immediately, you can click on our Go to Netflix button, and you'll be redirected to the Netflix page for that movie. And if you have the Netflix app downloaded on your device, you'll be redirected to your Netflix app. But let's say that you've been swiping for a bit and you're not really feeling any of the movies that you're seeing. But lately, you've been in the mood for some sci-fi, right? You want to see a sci-fi movie. So you can filter by them, right? By tapping on our gear icon on our swiping screen, you open up our filter options and see a number of genres available to choose from. So let's tap on the genre button, the filter button, and let's hit sci-fi. Right? We're okay there, Jack? Okay, let's tap on sci-fi. Let's tap on sci-fi if we can. Okay, great. And now every movie on this list is going to be in the sci-fi genre. And you can also filter by multiple genres, or you can reset the list back to all movies of every genre. But that is not all our app does. The real magic of Movie Night comes from using our app with another user. If two paired users swipe right on the same movie, they'll receive a match, which they can see on our matches screen. So let's go over to that. Yes, I can. Okay, so here are a number of matched movies where two users have swiped right on, indicating that they both want to watch this movie. But let's say this screen is empty and we need a match so we can start our night. So let's go over to our profile screen. And we will see that our user is already in a pair. So our user Chewy is in a pair called the Falcon. So let's say we have no matches and we want one as soon as possible. So let's use our rush feature, a mode where both users in a pair will have a limited amount of time to swipe right or left on the same list of movies in order to get a match quickly. And if we go to the swiper screen and click on the fast forward icon, we'll be navigated to a room to wait for our partner to join. And as soon as our partner joins, a timer will count down to let the user know that a game is about to start. So here we have Chewy, and we're waiting for our user Han that Kenny is going to be navigating on his iPhone. So let's punch it, Chewy. Let's get this rush mode started as soon as Kenny joins. And they're like, okay, great. So as soon as as soon as both players enter rush mode, the timer will count down immediately, and the pressure of time will force users to use their gut intuition to swipe as much as possible to get a match. So here, if we move, I guess there's lag, but all right, so are we swiping? Great. All right, so after the rush mode is over, after the timer counts down, you're gonna be navigated back to our swiping screen. And then here, if we go to our matches screen, we'll see that all the matches that we made, either in rush mode or in the regular swiping mode, those matches will be updated in real time to our matches screen. Also, we can even tap on these movies to see the movie info. We can go to Netflix from here, and we can even remove the movie from our matches after we've seen them to keep this list light and tight. And that's movie night. I think I speak for everyone on my team when I say that we are so immensely proud of this app that we made, and we hope that you check it out. So now Kenny is going to go over our super impressive tech stack.
So let's talk about how the technical side of the stuff. How did we enable the movie night experience? So firstly, we have chosen the Firebase file store database service to both host our database and make our data management and data storage stuff in getting done. So we have also used other Firebase services such as the Firebase authentication for user account management, the Firebase storage for like profile pictures, the Firebase cloud messaging function for sending the message, which I will talk about later. So to communicate with the database, we have employed TypeScript, which is through the Firebase Cloud function. Essentially, it provides an API layer for our front-end app to communicate with our database. So for the app language, we have chosen Dart and Flutter. Dart is the programming language, and Flutter is a framework to let you use Dart to develop a cross-platform application. So right now it's deployed to the Google Play Store, and we have also deployed it to the iOS Store, which is in reviewing process. And this is our test step. Okay, so now let's talk about the app architecture, how the app actually works. So when you download our app, it's actually only a 41 megabytes file. But what it actually does is that it is real lifetime updating, reading data from our database, and then our user actions such as swiping, joining rush mode, and stuff. It's lifetime updating with the database, and with this simple stuff in this database and in our cloud server, we actually have a lot of stuff going on. Let's say you have your pair, you get a pair, and then you still do some matching. When you swipe, it is like the database is calculating whether you have a match or not. And also we have some shenanigan stuff going on, which is like a recommendation algorithm, which we'll talk about in a second. So now let's talk about the database. What does it actually does? So firstly, it's movie night. So there has to be some movie data. In this corona time, the COVID, it's not really that good and safe to go out to cinema to watch a movie with your partner. So every movie provided, as you can see in the app, is available on Netflix Japan. So now, if you use our app, you can use it with your partner and then enjoy your movie night experience in your home safely and warm. So we also have our user data, like not only the username or profile picture, but most importantly, your swiping, what did you like and what you did not. So, and then when you have a pair, we also have the matches, as you can see in the demo. It's pretty important in the sense that even when you are not using the app, let's say when you use swipe right, like a movie, and then your partner also like that movie, so you have a match, but you are not using our app, what do? So we are taking care of this problem. When you're not using an app, we will send a cloud notification to your device. So even when you are busy with your work or with your school, you still know what to watch that night with your partner. So more importantly, we have our recommendation algorithm, which means that in our cloud server, we will decide that according to the user's preference of certain movies, our computer, our server will recommend you a set of movie that is personalized to your own preference. So let's explain more about that. So let's say you are the user, the robot in the middle. So you have 5 balls, meaning that there are like movies of different genres available in your feed, in your app. And then let's say you are a huge sci-fi fan. You like Star Wars, Star Trek, and other sci-fi movies in general. You like a lot of sci-fi movie. After a time, you will have much more sci-fi movies in your feed and less movies of other genres in your feed. If you, let's say you hate the horror movie because it's too scary, after the time of usage, you will have nearly no horror movies in your app presented to you. So now I pass my time to my fellow colleague Jose to talk about the front-end logics and UI UX design.
Thank you very much, Kenny. That was a really interesting presentation about the backend of our application. Now, I would like to introduce the audience to some of the front-end features that we implemented on this app. So let's get started with the main feature that we implemented on the app, which is the swiping gesture. Why we decided to use a swiping gesture for the central feature of our app is because we thought of the most natural and intuitive movement that all of our smartphone users are already used to and takes advantage of the native capabilities of each mobile device. So with this, we hope to get like a very intuitive interaction with our app. Second, we picture our users using this app right in the middle of the living room when they're getting ready to watch a movie, right? So at this moment, our users do not want to like be facing a really bright screen where like it's gonna make a different moment. We want them to be seamlessly interacting with the app in an environment which is dark. So we implemented a dark design across of our app. Also, we decided to implement a material design features. So most of the navigation items and the icons, most of the users are already familiar with. And we think that this will increase the easy engagement of the users on our app. And last but not least, the privacy of our users is very important. And also, in order to integrate with the functionality that Kenny was showing us on the backend, we decided to introduce the Fire-based authentication. So it will seamlessly integrate with our cloud serverless architecture and provide an interesting user experience. So with this, I already showed you the features on our front end, and I would like to talk a little bit about the project challenges, what we face when we come into this project. So first of all, as my colleague Kenny showed you a few moments ago, we decided to use the framework of Flutter and the language Dart to tackle this project. The reason why we decided to use those frameworks and languages to tackle this project was because with a single code base, we would be able to deploy to the Android App Store and to the iOS App Store. So by having the possibility of doing that within a single code base, we thought to ourselves, okay, this is not going to be that hard. We already finished a 1-week project where we learned a different programming language in a short period of time. We can handle this. And as a team, we decided to go heads on this new technology. And well, it was probably a little bit more difficult than what we expected. But however, we were able to overcome the challenge of getting introduced to a new technology and being able to deploy the app that you just saw right now in the demonstration. Isn't it impressive? I think it's very impressive. So now that you see, okay, but the app was quite simple. It only had like a swiping feature, left and right, and some matches pages and the profile page. Well, actually, there's a lot under the hood. And this page, I don't want to scare you. It's just to give you an overview of all the things that are included in the app. So in order to be able to include each of these features in the app, our team had to organize really well using Kanban methodologies, agile methodologies, but no more buzzwords. The idea is that we were able to overcome the challenge and tackling a completely new program language. And this is really impressive, and we're very proud to be showing this to you today. So let me talk to you a little bit more in detail about what the difference of paradigm that we were tackling when we were developing this app. So I mentioned that we decided to use the Flutter framework. This Flutter framework uses the Dart programming language, which is the logo that you see on your screen on the left. And we were used more to work with the JavaScript language, which is web development paradigm, and it's like the main language on the web. Although Dart is a language that is very recent and is more designed for working with mobile features. So having to work within these different paradigms, the different syntax of the languages, and most of all, overcoming the barrier of understanding a mobile paradigm and a web paradigm was something our team was able to overcome, and we became on the winning side of that battle. So with that, I will pass the voice to my colleague Jack, which is a tech lead, and he will tell you a little bit of what happened on the deployment of this app.
The hard way, when you're deploying to Google Play or iOS Store, the lag and knowing when your app is approved is quite unpredictable. Sometimes it can take a few hours, sometimes it can take a few days, and you also have to learn how to configure your file in a way that's much different than JavaScript with package.json. So with this, we learned that you need to sort of have your MVP ready much faster so that you're able to deploy and figure out your bugs in a short amount of time. So some of the future features that we'd like to implement in version 2.0, one is social login, which would be using either Facebook or Apple. We also like to have the ability to have groups of 2 or more people and the ability to switch between different groups. This would really create a robust experience. And also, we'd love to add different streaming services such as Amazon Prime and Disney Plus, which are quite popular in Japan. So I think this wraps up our presentation, and it's a quite chilly night, and I think you guys are all eager to get home and watch a movie, or if you're already home. So this wraps up our presentation, and again, my name is Jack, this is Kenny, and Alex from Bangkok, and Jose and Hakuba. And you can use this link to download our app, and this also leaves you a landing page that gives you more information on our iOS deployment. Thank you, everyone, and have a good movie night.
Pardon us for just a moment while we wipe mics between teams. We're taking extra care this evening. Thank you so much, Team McFat. That was awesome. Okay, please don't start using their app yet. It's definitely going to make a big difference for a lot of people who have a hard time deciding what to watch together. So maybe it's this weekend thing, because we also have another event tomorrow night. So up next is going to be Team The Conjuring Scribes, and they are going to bring an app, as you can see here, called Code and Sorcery. And that is going to enable you to conjure collaboration and coding trivia. So let's give it up for Team The Conjuring Scribes.
Okay then. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hello to all the folks who are tuning into the live stream from all over the world. Thank you for coming here today. We are the Conjuring Scribes, and today we want to present to you Code and Sorcery, a multiplayer experience. First, I'd like to start off by having the Conjuring Scribes introduce themselves. I'll start first. My name is Clay, and I'm the tech lead. I work primarily on user authentication and the game settings.
And my name is Michael. I worked on the app full stack, but most of my energy was put into making the random events in the quests and deploying from our computers to the Google Play Store platform.
Hello everyone, my name is Nina and I worked as a full stack on this project, but I mainly focused on core game mechanics and the front end.
Hello everyone, my name is Julian. On that project I worked full stack and I focused on multiplayer, database and time mechanics during the game.
Awesome. So we conceptualized this game as a bite-sized mobile experience that you can enjoy with your friends from anywhere. I'll let Michael tell us more about how we conjured up this exciting project, starting with our target demographics.
Thank you, Clay. So before we even made this app, we had to decide who are we going to make our app for. So we came up with 4 completely original users who we think are completely fictitious and based on no real people at all. So let's start on the far end with Blay. Blay likes friendly competition in his games. Well, that's nice as long as you don't take it too far, Blay. And we have Baikel. Baikel likes role-playing games. That's a pretty common genre. That's good, that's good. And we have Bina, who likes collaborative games. That's nice, I like that. And we have Boolean, who likes testing his knowledge. Well, let's see how tough you really are, Boolean. If only he was here today. So, for these users, we think they represent a pretty good chunk of the gaming community, and we wanted to make a fun, magical experience for all of them. So, we want our game to deliver on 5 key points. First, we want our game to be multiplayer. Right now, our game supports up to 4 players in a single game simultaneously. We want our game to be educational. Right now, it's a quiz based on programming knowledge for junior developers, veteran developers, and hobby programmers alike to test their skills. We want our game to be casual. Each adventure takes 5 to 10 minutes or less. So we want it to be something that you can play during lunch or on the train with your friends. Our game is social. Right now, you can play with your friends, but you can also join a larger community, or as we call it in our app, a guild. And you can work together to achieve greater objectives. Finally, for those of us that just want a little more edge in the game, it's a little competitive, but don't worry, it's friendly. And you can compare your progress with your friends and other members of your guild with a leaderboard and rankings. So, to supply all of these points, we created Code and Sorcery the game, which combines a developer programming trivia quiz with a party-based adventure mechanic. So, I think, Clay, are you prepared to show us a magical adventure of a demo?
Yes, I am. All right, Julian, I'll be navigating you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go. When you load up Code and Sorcery, you'll be greeted at the home screen with your avatar and username. At first, let's visit the profile page. On the profile page, you can see your username and class, along with the points that you have accumulated from your quiz adventures. We can also change our profile's avatar here. Let's change your avatar, Julian. Okay, let's keep going. And I like the pink tree. Let's go with that. All right, now I'd like you to take note of Julian's 100 quiz points and his warrior class, as we'll come back to this in a little bit. Now, let's go back to homepage. From here, let's go on an adventure. On my end here, I've already created a game. Julian, can you click on Join Game?
Yeah.
The game link is uppercase X, lowercase t. And there you are. That's me, Insect Bane. I'm the destroyer of all bugs. Now, to demonstrate our multiplayer experience, we'll also have 2 members in the audience join our adventure. While we wait for our party members, I'd like to take this time to explain a bit about some mechanics that we've implemented. As a party, we have shared health. When a player answers correctly, he or she will receive points. However, if a player answers incorrectly, the party health decreases by 1. If party health reaches 0, the party will game over. The quiz is also timed for multiplayer, so if a player fails to answer in time, the party health will also decrease. You also may have noticed that my class is a wizard, whereas Julian's class is a warrior. Warriors will increase the party's health, and wizards will give the party a bonus to the perception rate, which will increase our chances for positive outcomes in random events. All right, we're all here. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. And the counter is going to 1. All right. Question 1. Which of the following is an object literal? Which one do you think it is, Julian?
I think it's the second one.
The second option? Okay, let's do that. Oh, nice. That was correct. Thanks. Okay. And question 2. The for each method can be applied to arrays or objects. I think it's both. What do you think, Julian?
I think it's arrays.
You know what? I'm going to go with both.
I'm going to go with arrays.
Oh, the party has decreased. Oh, sorry, that was my fault. Okay, question 3. Which is an acceptable way to define a function? Well, I think for JavaScript, we have to define functions with def, right?
But that...
Or was that Python? I forget. Oh, I'm out of time. Oh, no. Sorry, that was my fault again. Okay, question 4. What is the standard that JavaScript is based on? Well, it's obviously Java. I'm picking that.
I'm going to go with ECMAScript.
Oh, that was incorrect. What the heck is ECMAScript?
I'll tell you about it later on.
Okay. Oh, here's a random event. There's an old man that is asking for 2 points. Well, unfortunately, I only have 1 point, so I can't give him any. Julian, how about you give him some?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, look at that. He gave you back double what you gave him. He must have been some king disguised as an old man. Now, let's go to the results screen. At the results screen, we can see how well each player performed. Since this was a multiplayer game, all players also get a multiplayer bonus of 2 points. It seems that my rival Julian has bested me again. I'll get you one of these days.
One day, Clay, one day.
Okay, let's go back to the homepage and back into our profile. We can see that the points Julian scored in our adventure has been added. However, while it's fun to stack up points and flex on your friends, we can bring that to the next level with guilds. Each player belongs to one of 3 guilds, and we can see how they are performing against each other. The points that Julian earns also gets added to his guild, the Callback Crusade. Let's look at the guild rankings. The Callback Crusade is losing to the Microtask Ascendancy, with the Scarlet Authenticators trailing in 3rd place. Hey Julian, how about switching to my guild, the Microtask Ascendancy? I know how much you like being on the winning side.
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's go back and into change guild, and change your guild to the Microtask Ascendancy. There, welcome to the winning team. And oh my, look at those guild points. It's over 9,000. Now, let's have a look at who the top players are in our guild. Click on user rankings, and wow, number 1 is Michael, the most elite player. And it seems I'm still losing to you, Julian. One day, I'll get to your level.
Okay, one day maybe.
I'll keep on dreaming. And that concludes our demo. Next up, Julian will tell you about the technology that we use to create code and sorcery.
Thank you, Clay. That was a very fun game. So I'm now going to introduce to everyone the tech stack we used for this app. For the backend, we decided to use Firebase and use Firebase authentication for user authentication. We use Cloud Firestore for NoSQL database, and Cloud Storage to store assets we have in the game, such as the sprites for the monsters. For the front end, we use the Flutter framework, which is using the Dart programming language, and we are currently deployed on the platform Google Play. And speaking about tech stack, I would like to introduce one of the main problems we had developing that application, which was multiplayer, because when we looked on how to do a multiplayer game using the Flutter framework, there was nothing. So we had to engineer a solution on how to have multiplayer in the game. And I would like to give you a quick run-through on how we achieved that. So first, when player 1 will create a game object will be created in the database. This game object will have multiple information for every player and everything going on inside the game. Then, as you might have seen earlier, in the game lobby, the ID of that game object will be displayed. This ID is also the room code that player 1 can send to his friends. Then once player 2 gets that room code, he would click on join the game, just as I did during the demo. And once he inputs the room code, he will join the game lobby with his friend and be added to the game object as player 2. And his class, as I was a warrior, was also added to the game object. Then once the game starts, all the players are transported immediately to the game. And the game object will keep track of everyone's scores and choices in real time. Then once everyone quits the game, everyone's profile will be updated with the points they scored during the game. And speaking of multiplayer, I'm also going on to future features, because one of the future features we would like to implement is bigger multiplayer games. Currently, as Michael said earlier, we have up to 4-player games. We would like to reach at least a number of 12 people, because currently in our cohort at Code Chrysalis, we have 12 people, and we would like to be able to play this game together once graduation is over. And we would also like to have more classes and game settings. We are currently thinking of adding a rogue class, which will give the players a bonus during time sessions, and game settings, such as a time attack mode, to make things a little more tense. We would like to have a more diverse selection of avatars and achievements, so that players can customize the application as they want to do so. And we would also like to have players to be able to submit new quiz questions for review. That way they would be able to craft custom adventures to play with their friends. And now I'm going to pass it on to Nina to talk to us about the challenges we faced during the development of our project.
Thank you, Julian. I'm now going to talk to you a little bit about the major challenges that we had during this project. Number one would be time management. If you have to deal with a completely new tech stack, as we did for this project, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes how long things will take to implement if you do them for the first time. So that was a major challenge for us, especially in week 1. Moving on to teamwork and team organization. We had a completely new team setup, so first we really needed to take some time and make sure to learn everybody's work styles and find an efficient way to collaborate. And then last but certainly not least, as Julian was saying, implementing multiplayer was quite tricky, and especially because we wanted to kind of do it together with timed sessions, it was really, really hard to implement for us to really have everybody start and end exactly at the same time. Moving on to the learnings that we had, and which are of course also tied to our major challenges. Number one would be team communication, especially if you have a team that has at least one remote member. In our case, the first 2 weeks were completely remote for everybody, so it was especially essential for us to have a good team flow. Next, never underestimate tasks that you've never done before. As mentioned previously, with a completely new tech stack, it's sometimes hard to say how long something will take. So after week 1, we had a meeting and we saw that although we were still on track, we were having a hard time really keeping to our timelines. So we started implementing a meeting at the beginning of every day where we were making sure that everybody knew what they were doing and how long it was going to take. And then at the end of the day, we would talk about it again and then kind of evaluate where we were and make adjustments where necessary. And then lastly, starting a project from scratch as a team. So this was an experience that really gave us the opportunity to explore a whole project from start to finish. We were able to make an inception meeting, we defined our tech stack, our personas, and we went to full deployment. So that was an absolutely fantastic experience for all of us. I'm going to pass it on to Clay now for closing words.
Thank you, Nina. Once again, thank you all so much for coming here today. And thank you, Antonio and Vic, for joining our fun demonstration. I want to give special thanks to the wonderful staff at Code Chrysalis. We wouldn't have made it here if it weren't for your patience and guidance. And last, I want to thank the members of the Conjuring Scribes for working so hard and putting so much heart into this project. Michael, Nina, and Julian, you're all awesome, and it was an honor to create Code and Sorcery with you. This concludes our exciting project. Check us out on GitHub and download our app on Google Play. We look forward to seeing you conjure up fun experiences with your friends.
Okay, thank you very much, Team The Conjuring Scribes. I know some of you out there in the audience are foundation students and are students in the course, so you might want to check out their app to allow you to kind of prepare for what awaits you in 2021. So our final presentation for the evening is going to be from Team Ward Squid. Yes, I got that one next. Yes, it's like not Squidward, Ward Squid. Okay, thank you. And so they're going to be presenting an app called Inkling. You can kind of notice a theme over the last two teams of self-improvement, and this is going to be amazing. Their app is going to help you create a daily journaling and self-reflection habit that will allow you to pass your life effectively. So without further ado, and with lots of joy, let's give it up for Inkling.
Good evening, everyone. We are Team Was Squid, and our application is Inkling, which is a journaling application and helps building a long-term journaling habit. Okay, so let us introduce ourselves first. Okay.
Thank you, Yoshi. Hi, everyone. My name is Shivani, and I am tech lead and a full stack engineer on this project. I really love music, so it was a pleasure for me to work with integrating the Spotify API into our app.
Hello, I'm Yoshi. I'm also a full stack engineer, and I'm very excited today because I've always wanted this application because I haven't been able to keep journaling for long term. So I'm very happy, and I mainly worked on user interface and user experience.
Hi everyone, my name is Jay. I'm not lazy, I like automation, and I work on the machine layer aspect of our application.
I'm Antonio, also full stack engineer. I enjoy problem solving, and I was the debugger in chief for this operation.
Okay, so awesome. So the start point of our application is problems that we have in daily life. So let's meet Takashi. He wants to keep a journal, but he cannot because of his busy schedule. And so he tried other journaling apps, but he hasn't been able to so far. But he knows the benefit of keeping journal. So he wants help building a long-term journaling habit. So he has the same problem as mine. And let's meet Mitsuki. She works in a different time zone from her family and friends, so she has difficulty to communicate with them. So she wants to share day-to-day moments with loved ones. So our solutions of this problem is Inkling. Inkling is your journaling partner. By utilizing the latent data you collect during the day, it makes building a long-term journaling habit easier and more enjoyable. So Shivani will talk about our applications.
Thank you so much, Yoshi. I'm going to take us through our demo. So I am sharing my phone screen currently, and it's 8:13 right now, and I'm actually late to make my daily entry. So I'm trying to start a journaling habit. So every evening after I come home, I want to record my memories for the day. So as you can see at the bottom of my notification stack here, I have a notification from our app, Inkling. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to take us to our landing page. So as you can see, I'm on memory lane, but I'm not quite ready to go down there yet. So let's swipe to the right first, and I'm going to create a new entry. So as you can see, first at the top in the blue bar, it says personal. So this means I'm in my personal journal, and we'll get into different types of journals later. So I'm going to create a new entry for today, Thursday, 17th December. And the first thing I want to do is add a picture. So I'm going to click on the hamburger icon, and I'm going to click Add from Gallery. So my cousin actually graduated from Georgia Tech recently, and I have very fond memories from this time of year of spending Christmas holidays with them. So here, as you can see, there's some machine learning generated prompts. So it pulled from our picture that we were at an event, and there were people there. So I'm going to select these two prompts. Do you visit here often? Tell me about your best memory. Sounds good. So sometimes I get writer's block, so I like to have prompts to help me write. Now, let's give it a title. I'm going to use our audio to text feature here. Let's give it a go. Cousin's graduation. Awesome. Looks good to me. Probably just want to capitalize the C, and we are good to go. Last thing I want to do is I want to add a song to go along with this memory. So I'm gonna click on the menu and go to Add Spotify Track. And this is pulling from my recent listening history. So right now it's suggesting to me chill. So if I type in a C, it will suggest songs and narrow it down as I type. But I think the song I have in mind is Special Days, because this is a very special day. And I'm gonna click Add Song. And as you can see, there's a snack bar notification, song added below, and there it is. So I'm gonna save this entry for now and come back to it later because I have a lot to show you. So let's go to our home page again. So I'm gonna click on the top left and go back home. And as you can see now, in memory lane at the very top is our new entry. Nice. And if I scroll down, you can see some other entries I have here as well. Some of them have music tracks, some of them don't. So to show you the Spotify integration, as you can see, oops, my bad, sneak peek. So if I swipe down here, as you can see, I have Spotify open, as I often do. I listen to music all day. So if I click on the play button here next to this track, and I'm gonna turn up my volume for on-site folks, but I'll also show you visually what's gonna happen. If I click play, it's actually gonna play the song. Nice. And if I go back and continue scrolling, you can see other types of entries as well. And if I click on a track now, because Spotify is already open, it will continue playing the track. Cool. Okay. And as you can see, some entries have images, some have text, and some of them just have a title. So we try to keep it as flexible as possible for all kinds of users to write the entry that they want to create. And as we scroll down, we hit the end of the month, and if I click read more, it will fetch from the previous month. But what if I have a specific day in mind I want to revisit? I'm thinking September 28th. So I'm gonna click on the top left icon for the calendar, and that's gonna take me to the calendar page. And let's go back to September 28th. September 28th is a special day for me because it was my first day of Code Chrysalis, starting this bootcamp. So if I click on September 28th, as you can see, it's first day of CC, and I'm gonna click on that entry, and it will take me there. Awesome. And if I wanna edit this, I can go click on the pencil icon on the top right, and edit it to my heart's content. So even if you don't have time to make an entry on the day of, you can always go back and edit entries or even backdate entries to record your memories. So I'm gonna click the cancel button to get out of there. And next, I wanna show you some of our sharing functionality. So first I'm gonna go home. All right, and I'm gonna go to our user profile. So over here, as you can see, it has my basic info. And this is where I set the reminder from that you saw the initial push notification. And we also have our friends list, which I'll show you in a minute. We have sign out. So you didn't see this, but because I'm using an Android phone and I have a Google account, it's really easy for me to sign in and authenticate through Google and stay signed in through sessions. And at the bottom, we have our privacy policy because we have a lot of user-generated content in our app, so it's important for us to have that clearly visible. So let's try looking at friends. So as you can see, I already have Yoshi, Antonio, and Jay added as my friends. And if I want to add a new friend, I can go ahead and do that, but it does validate whether I've actually entered text and whether it's actually a real email address. And also, if I want to manage my friends, I can always go in and remove them. If Jay's been annoying me today, I can always remove him as a friend, but I would never do that because I love Jay. I would never. All right, so I have friends, but what do I do with those? So I'm going to show you how you can make a shared journal. So let's go to the home page, and I'm going to swipe right to the entry screen. And if we click on the hamburger, right now it says I'm in current journal personal. So I'm going to click on that, and now I get options to choose a different journal. So here, as you can see, I have Word Squid's secret diary. It's very secret, and that's for all of my team members. So if you want to have shared entries that you can share with the same group of people or a specific person, say your partner, you want to be able to share your memories with them, you can do that using shared journals. If I click on the settings, here I can manage my settings. So I've already added all my team members as part of this journal. And I can also change the name and delete the journal if I wish. So I'm going to cancel out of that and close. So next, what does that look like for me? If someone shares an entry with me, let's go home and we can see. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, And you will see here, this is actually not my dog. This is Antonio's lovely dog, Makia, who I've had the pleasure to meet, and she's wonderful. And I love seeing pictures of her, so I always ask Antonio to share pictures of her with me. And you know this is a shared entry because if you look below the image, below the title and the timestamp, it says shared by Antonio. So this is how you can view the shared entries with your loved ones. Now, if you want to share a one-off entry, you can do that too. So, for example, if I click on the calendar, and then I'm gonna click on this entry that I made, it's demo day, which is today. And I'm gonna click on the hamburger icon, and here I have different options, right? So this is an entry I've already created, so at this point, if I want to, I can delete it, which I can also do from the calendar screen. I can share it with a friend as well. So if I click on share with a friend, this gives me more traditional sharing options. So if I'm sharing a memory with someone who doesn't necessarily use this app, or it's a friend that I haven't seen in a long time and might not see in a while, and I have a one-off memory I want to share with them, let's try sharing through Gmail. So here, as you can see, the title, the content of my entry, and the image are all pre-populated into the email. Nice. And with that, the demo is concluded. I'm going to pass it off to Jay now to talk about our tech stack.
Thank you very much, Shivani. Now I get to annoy all of you guys with how excited we are about the tech stack that we used for this project. I think that you can sense an underlying theme that we wanted to be flexible, we wanted to be available. So starting with the backend, we built the backend in Cloud Firestore and in Cloud Storage for Firebase. And the reason why we have two different servers for backend, I'll get into that in the next couple slides. Next, as Shivani pointed out, she's authenticating through her Gmail account, and we did our user authentication through Firebase authentication. For the front-end components that Yoshi styled, we wrote the program in Dart and Flutter. The backend is handled by TypeScript for cloud functions. But we chose Flutter and Dart as our initial part of our architecture. We built everything around this. You can kind of see a very Google theme here. We wanted to keep everything within the Google ecosystem, and we were very excited to work with a lot of these technologies. Some of the external technologies that we worked with, other than Google Maps API, was Spotify and also TensorFlow. If you remember the great YouTube blackout just a few days ago, we also trained another machine learning asset just in case we couldn't use the one that was prepackaged in Google Machine Learning Kit. And finally, currently, although Dart and Flutter allows us to deploy on both iOS, mobile, Android, and also on desktop as a web-based application, currently we're only deployed onto Google Play with plans to expand in the future. For the next slides. And when we initially created the application, we thought about the kind of data that we wanted to store. Well, we knew that we wanted to store user data, and we also wanted to store the journal entry data, but what would that look like? Originally, it was just text and image. As we developed the application more and more, we learned that the certain limitations of Cloud Firestore prevented us from storing images as they were. And so we explored other options, like storing them as 64-bit keys. However, due to data constraints, we ended up coming up with another solution. And that solution was Cloud Firestore. So along with the progress of our application, the amount of information we want to store also grew. And now, so we're storing the user information, we're storing the user's friends' information for the social media aspect, we're still storing text, and now we're also storing the music data from Spotify. However, the images we're storing as a whole image inside of cloud storage without having to convert it. And data efficiency-wise, it actually worked out for the best. And so now, I get to pass it off to Antonio, who will talk about the challenges and learnings we faced.
Thank you, Jay. Now, onto the challenges and learning. We'll be covering mostly 4 topics: recent changes affecting Firebase machine learning on device, debugging with Flutter and Dart, memory leaks and unwanted operations, and last but not least, app summation. Now, starting with Firebase for machine learning on device, it is no more. Now, it's called Google ML Kit. Around 6 months ago, in June of 2020, the Firebase machine learning on device kit undergone some pretty interesting and large changes. And we're not just talking about simple changes, the entire architecture behind it has changed. And we're talking about Before it was SDK based, now it's API based. Now with that came a lot of changes. Even in the current stage, a lot of the packages are currently sort of broken to the point that even Firebase website will try to teach you some workaround on how to make them work. Our situation was different because we were using those packages using Flutter, and therefore we had to learn how to bypass the regular Android SDK. Sorry, issues with the mic. Where was I? We had to learn how to bypass these changes to make sure that our app was stable. Now, the following problem was debugging in Flutter and Dart. Either the assertion indicates an error in the framework itself, or we should provide substantially more information in this error message to help you determine and fix the underlying cause. Now, as you can see, getting to the bottom of that was not quite easy because there was no information whatsoever. That was actually in stark contrast to most of the error messages we received that were clear and pinpointed us exactly in the right direction. Now these taught us to be better communicator among each other, to make sure that we always knew what the code was doing and where was that happening. And after that, we still learned that despite some shortcoming, we have to keep in mind that Flutter is only about 2 years old after it turned 2 at the beginning of this month, and it's still an awesome tool to develop multi-platform app, namely Android, iOS, and desktop. Now, on to the next challenge, memory leaks. Now, while our swiping feature looks awesome, it did came with quite its own unique set of challenges. As soon as the user starts touching the screen, and if they start to swipe even by just 1 pixel, the following page will start to get rendered. Now, what that did was that server calls were being made, and after those, it was trying to change things, but because maybe the page changed and not going through, because I decided not to change page, it would cause a memory leak. Now, from that, we've learned by examining our code that we actually were making a lot of server calls that were necessary. And we're talking about, for a single day of testing, just the 4 of us, we had 5,400 read operation on the server. Now, that is a lot. That pushed us to think out of the box and think what we should do in a true production app. And that's when we integrated local caching in our application. And after just a simple code rewrite, the number of read operation in a full day of testing with similar size database was down to only 943. That is an 82.5% reduction in read operation. And while our app is small scale, if this were to be a full scale production app, that could translate to hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings. Now, last but not least, as I said, app submission. Due to the ongoing COVID situation, even Google is working remotely, and therefore the submission time for app has been substantially longer than usual. In our case, it took about 2 weeks, but our extra sets of challenge was that because we were relying on user content, we had to have a different set of rules, which included a privacy policy prominently displayed somewhere on the website, and as Shivani pointed out, it's in our user profile, and then also a report functionality in order to be able to moderate content. And now, for future features, back to Shivani.
Thank you, Antonio. All right, so let's talk about some future features we'd like to implement. So one thing, image recognition. We're currently using machine learning to pull data from our images, right? So it labels them with tags, and then we generate prompts based on those tags. So in the future, it would definitely be awesome, and we would really like to expand the number of things that we're able to label and how accurate it is, and then write more personalized and customizable prompts for the user to help give them the best experience possible writing their entry. We'd also want to try implementing modular entry components. So right now, our entries are simple, which is nice. There's an image, there's text, and there's a song. But we think it would be awesome to also allow for users to add more images, more text, more songs, and maybe even design their own layout to really customize their entry the way they want to. We also would love to work more on thinking more about minimalistic and intuitive UI. So we spent a long time trying to figure out the best way to help the user navigate around our app and how to make that feel right for the user. And I think that's something that could potentially take a long time to really figure out the best way. So I think that's something we definitely want to work more on in the future, as well as more advanced auto-generated content. So right now we're pulling content from a few different places. So we pull your listening history from the Spotify API and SDK. And we also pull EXIF data from your images to get location data, as well as labeling the images and generating prompts for you. But in the future, we would also love to implement features, maybe tie-ins with other apps other than Spotify that are popular with users, and also maybe expanding it to other data that our phone collects that our users would like us to help generate content for. Finally, as we talked about before, Flutter and Dart are awesome because Flutter lets you deploy to multiple platforms. Right now, we're deployed on the Play Store, so we're an Android app, but in the future, it would be awesome to also be on the Apple App Store, desktop, and web as well. And with that, our presentation is over. We are Team WordSquid. Again, I'm Shivani, this is Yoshi, Jay, and Antonio, and our app is called Inkling. And you can check out our GitHub repo with the QR code on the left, and you can check out our app on the Google Play Store with the QR code on the right. Thank you, and happy holidays.
Okay, thank you very much to Team WordSquid with Inkling. So I hope that all of you who witnessed that app there tonight will think about using it when you're doing your 2020 end of year reflection. It's a good time to start a habit like that. So once again, let's give it up for all of CC15. Really, really great way to round out this year's demo days. They're all graduates now. And so if you are looking for an amazing member to add to your team who's collaborative, friendly, skilled, and also really prepared to work on distributed teams in troubled times, look no further. So give them jobs, please. Yes, we can see. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Yan, who's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. And hello to Alex, Clay, and Jose online. I was amazed by Clay's announcer voice. I mean, I could listen to that voice all day.
I did listen to it all day.
Like, I feel like he needs to do a documentary on Chrysalis. Anyhow, thank you all so much for coming tonight, and, well, not coming, but watching online. Thank you, by the way, for staying home and watching online. I want to also give a shout out to the staff that made this possible. Heather, Vic, Erica, Yusuke, Rafa, Dustin, who's all the way in the back. They are wonderful, passionate people, and because of that passion, because of their relentlessness and trying to figure out the best way to make the program work for our students, I think that's why you see these awesome, apps that were created. So this is the last class of the year that's graduating, but it's not the last thing that we're doing. So, Sugi? Yes, tomorrow. If you're curious about where our students are at in the middle of the course, we actually have our other two cohorts, CC16 and CCJ3, and they are going to be, oh, is the mic out? It's okay, I'm pretty loud. Okay, so our other cohorts, CC16, CCJ3, they are in the middle of the Code Chrysalis program, and they're going to be presenting projects that they started doing on Tuesday. So they didn't have very much time, but I welcome all of you to watch that tomorrow. It's going to start at 7:30. We're going to be live streaming it on YouTube and Facebook. And so they're going to be showing off apps that they've built using Stripe's API. So please check it out. And then Siggy, And I hope you mark your calendars because next year, January 28th, those two classes, those two cohorts are going to graduate. So please mark your calendars. I'm sure they will have some awesome projects to show off, which they have not started yet, but I have full faith that they will bring in the new year for us with some kick-ass projects. Siggy. And yeah, and of course you can find us on social media and all of that stuff. I have to say, like, this class that you just saw, this group of people, I've been just amazed watching them. They treat each other with such kindness and empathy. They brought such a curiosity to Code Chrysalis. And they were really relentless in making sure that not only them, but everyone else in the class was feeling fulfilled, was learning, was keeping up, was feeling like this was possible. And this is why this class has made it all the way to the end together and so successfully. And I really hope that for everyone watching, that we can bring that same kind of mindset, that same sort of kindness to our lives and be inspired by these students, these new software engineers, and let's make 2021 the best yet. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you stay safe, stay warm, and stay healthy. Thank you.